Hey everyone, it's Robin. Welcome to my desk. I am very tardy in responding to comments on the last ink journal flip that I did quite some time ago, months and months ago. I've been struggling to get back into YouTube. I'm doing my best and I'm filming a few videos tonight, and I'll just date this one to be released later on this week. But when I flipped through this ink journal a few months ago, I did not notice when I was filming that I had moved the book so that you could no longer see the names of the inks on the page about halfway through the book. So I thought that I would very quickly do another flip. This is going to be a little bit quicker, and I'm not going to be as chatty through the video. I'll see if I can come up with something to talk about. But I now have my desk marked to make sure that I'm within frame for the pages. So here we go. Round two. So these probably were fine in the beginning of the pages. How's everybody doing? It was a beautiful summer. I know that a lot of people experienced a lot of extreme weather. Here where I'm at in Minnesota, it was a pleasant summer. We had a few hot stretches, but for the most part, I guess the biggest complaint was just a lack of rain overall. We got one huge storm in the city that I live in, Minneapolis, that produced some really large hail. And so now we're in the process of of getting our roof fixed from the hail damage, which is always fun. But other than that, it's been a really nice summer. One of my favorite things in the summertime is the Minnesota State Fair. If you've never been to the Minnesota State Fair, I guess people who are from Minnesota either love it or hate it. I love the Minnesota State Fair. It's the only place that I know of that you can spend a crap ton of money on food, but mostly really unusual foods. A lot of things are marketed on a stick, so you'll find things like candy bars deep fried on a stick, or walleye on a stick, different things. So this year at the State Fair, I tried two new things that were featured. I tried cheese curd tacos. A lot of people really like them. I was not one of them. Just not my jam. And the other thing that I tried was loaded lobster fries, and those are really good. Anything with lobster and French fries, I'm down for that. So it was a really hot day the day that I went. It was in the 90s, and I don't think very many, if any, of the buildings that exhibits or like the shop, I guess they're all exhibits, store exhibits or people exhibits, people's things exhibit. People are not on exhibit at the Minnesota State Fair, don't get me wrong. The crafts and whatnot that people work all year, the barns and the arts and the textiles and the baked goods and other pickled things. None of those buildings are air conditioned. Long story short, it was a really hot day, but it was very enjoyable. I think on my watch when I got home, I had put on 5.5 miles of walking during the day. So that's always a nice way to end the summer. And as you may know, if you watch my videos at all, I have chosen to leave the classroom. I have retired a little bit early from teaching, and I can't tell you how delightful it was. The State Fair marks the turn of the year. It goes through Labor Day, right? Labor Day. Memorial Day is on the other end of the summer. It goes through Labor Day, and there's always a dilemma that teacher workshops start the same time that the state fair starts at. And as soon as the state fair is over, it's time to go back to work. So this year is the first year in 30 plus years that I have not spent the last weeks of summer with that knot of excitement and or anxiety welling up inside me, getting ready for students to come back the following week. So it's been a blessing and a curse to some extent. I very much am going to miss the students that I taught. My joy in teaching is working with teenagers. And if that's the only thing that my job entailed, if it were just teaching teenagers, I would likely still be there. But we all know if you have friends, family, if you are a teacher, you know. I really just needed a better work-life balance, partly because of a lot of the personal things that have happened in my life over the past 2 or 3 years. It's also one of the reasons that my YouTube videos have not been at all existent and or very infrequent. My mother passed away 2 years ago at the end of the summer, right before school started. And so the past 2 years at school were just very, very mentally challenging for me on a personal level. And I love teaching enough to know that we don't need people working with children and teenagers who also need self-care. So I am now job hunting, and I have a few prospects. I think I said in one of my previous videos that I feel very fortunate to be in a position where I can be picky about the job that I'm looking at, the employer that I'm going to be working for, and the hours that I'm going to be working. I don't need to do the 9 to 5 grind Monday through Friday. In fact, I really have been doing some soul searching and seeking some guidance from higher powers, and my heart is telling me that maybe putting together 2 or 3 different jobs that bring me joy in different ways would be the right direction to go in until my official retirement date and my pension start being activated. That was a long story. I don't even know if you care very much, but it's a different experience, all of you guys. I have to let you know that at my age, which is 50 plus, going back into the job market and sending out resumes and cover letters and doing applications, it's so different than when I was in my 20s looking for jobs. Clearly, the world has changed very much, but I think that I've experienced a little bit of ageism in some of the applications that I've sent out that I know I'm overqualified for, and maybe that's why I didn't get contacted, because I was overqualified for some of the jobs. Maybe I'm just so out of tune with job hunting that my resume and cover letter are just not at all. They look at it and say, what's this? Oh my gosh, does this woman even have a clue? So I don't know. But I have 2 job interviews scheduled for, well, they will have happened probably by the time that this video airs. And one I'm very excited about. There's another writing and editing contracting job that I'm hoping to hear back from this week. And yeah, so that's something that's going on in my life that's interesting. I'm anticipating that I may be having some planner needs changing. I've been accustomed to a schedule that never changed other than odds and end beyond the duty day, parent-teacher conferences or open houses or whatnot. But I never had to pencil in any schedule for work, so I will definitely likely be adding that to my planner line up. And ironically, I in my previous video, my Hobonichi haul of 3 things, partially because I don't have the finances right now for a big box full of things from Japan. But I also have honed my my interests, and I know what works for me, and the Hobonichi Weeks is just a planner that works for me. So if it's not broken, don't fix it. I will figure out a way to make the Hobonichi Weeks work for whatever is coming my way in the future. So let's see what else. Other than my Hobonichi haul, I've been a very, very, very good girl. I have not allowed myself to even venture into looking at fountain pens or fountain pen inks. Again, I just don't have the resources to be frivolous with my purchases. And clearly I have more inks than I will ever use in my lifetime. I can just make myself enjoy what I already have. Maybe it'd be fun to do some sort of an ink trade with people. Certainly I have bottles of ink that I will likely never make it to the bottom of, that I could easily slip into one of the little sample vials. If any of you are interested in any of that, you could comment below, and maybe we could arrange something like that. I think I could pay for shipping of ink samples someplace in the United States. Sorry, overseas is probably out of my budget. But yeah, no new fountain pens. I'm done buying fountain pens. I, again, have more fountain pens than a person needs in their lifetime. And I get myself into these like questions, like if push came to shove, I likely could liquidate some of my fountain pens and be comfortable for at least a little bit. So anyways, don't get me wrong, I'm fine. I'm financially fine. My husband and I are fine. We are, however, looking to move. And the reason that I'm still in Minneapolis right now is because we haven't found just the right place to move to. We're considering 3 different places. I have a father-in-law who is a snowbird. And I'm sure everybody in the United States is familiar with that term. Those of us who have lived in cold climates, when we get older, we find someplace warmer to spend our winters, and then we come back to our home in the summer months when it's enjoyable. So he's a snowbird in Texas. So of course my husband is interested in looking for a home in Texas. That's one of our choices. The second choice is West Virginia. My husband has family in West Virginia, so that is definitely one of the most beautiful states I think I've ever seen. I would like to move someplace that's not one temperature most of the year. And I know not any place is one temperature all year long, but I think in Texas you are hotter and hottest. And I do like snow if it will melt right away, if I don't have to shovel it and don't have to deal with 20 degrees below zero for weeks on end. I think that I would enjoy something that has at least 3, if not 4 seasons involved with it. So West Virginia is definitely a possibility, and we're looking at southern West Virginia specifically. And then the other area of the country that we are interested in investigating, that's questionable at this point, is far eastern Tennessee. And the reason that it's questionable is because my understanding from what I'm seeing on YouTube and hearing from different people is that it's becoming very oversaturated. I guess maybe people in many places in the United States would say that about where they're at. You know, stop moving here. We have more people coming in than the area can handle. But so anyways, that's a lot. To make a very long story short, those are the 3 places that we're currently considering looking for a home, and housing prices are just totally off the hook right now. So the places that we really like are out of our reach, and the places that are within our reach are either lacking critical things that we would want to have in our retirement home, or they're a little bit too remote or a little bit too urban. We need something that's maybe a little bit more in between with a little bit of land. So that's another adventure that we are looking towards in our futures. And when the right house comes along, God providing, then we will make steps to move in that direction. So that's that. Other than that, life in Minnesota has been anxiety free, except for the job hunt, which is something that I can easily feel like I'm in control of to some extent. And I have to tell you that not correcting papers is probably my favorite aspect of my new adventures wherever I'm going. I'm looking forward to a job that, for the most part, I go to work, I do my work, and then when I leave work, I leave work. Yeah, I want to experience that for a chunk of my life. And I'm to the greens in my ink book, so I'm getting to the end. I'm hoping that I'm not flipping far too fast for you to be able to at least pause and check out the maker and the names of the inks on the top of the page. And I'm quite certain that I have not moved this book so that you can see all of the writing on all of the pages. It's kind of fun to flip through books like this every once in a while. I guess that's the joy of having a bound book. But I'm also quickly running out of space in this book. So I have all of these in the back. In the back part are my ink samples, except for a few that I've noted that I liked so much that I bought bottles of. Yeah. So, anyone else besides me go through phases with fountain pens and ink where you're just kind of very into it and in love with it? It's your jam and everything is all about writing and inks, and then you go through ebbs and flows where you just are not excited about fountain pens and inks for a while. I guess that's one thing that I appreciate about this hobby is it's something that is easily pick upable again, and you can ebb and flow through it to suit your own interests and need and time and budget very well. So that is the conclusion of Flip Through of my ink journal, part 2. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope everything was visible, and I will see you again soon. Bye.